Yo, what's good? What's good? We back. Triple P, Paul Pickett podcast. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button in that right hand corner. Of course, we do nothing but NBA and NFL talk. Also, don't forget this audio version of this podcast and go to my Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon, Slacker, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, and a dozen other platforms. You can Google Paul Pickett podcast. You see the name in the background behind me. On this episode, I'm really just going to talk about the NBA ratings right now. NBA ratings are plummeting. Partially the same reason that CNN ratings are plummeting. False narratives, lies, and a form of politics that a lot of people don't agree with. I've always said this as a sports fan. Even before what's going on now, in the world. I've always said I don't want politics in my sports. It's enough that there's politics on the news. It's enough that you got movies that are political based. You got musicians talking about political topics. Every form of entertainment doesn't need politics in it. We there's got to be some form of entertainment that's politic free, and that's supposed to be sports. Like most people who watch sports, I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for millions of other people. I know this. I know this. We don't want politics in our sports. When we watch sports, we want to watch sports. Sports is supposed to be a getaway from politics for a lot of us. So, you watch your politics in the news and then you go watch sports to get away from politics and you can't get away from it because y'all cramming and throwing politics down people's throats everywhere they go. And some people just don't want politics everywhere they go. And you're not giving them a choice because you're cramming it down their throats everywhere. And, then you got this narrative, on the far left that if nobody agrees with them, you're this racist scumbag enemy, you know? Like, okay, but let's break this down. I mean, ratings are dropping in the NBA because there's too much politics. Then I would say the NBA is they're running with the narrative of the left that every white person in America is racist. I've never cussed on this podcast before, but that's complete bullshit, horseshit, complete bullshit. That every single white person in America is a racist. That's complete horseshit. It's a lie. Is there racist people in America? Yes, of course. But it is, first of all, let's look at this from common sense. It's mathematically impossible for even 100 people of one race to all think exactly alike. It's mathematically impossible because the human brain does not work that way. Everybody doesn't think alike. It's like how I feel about success. Most people ain't even trying to be successful. I've never attempted to be successful or to be self-employed. Whose fault is that? If you didn't even attempt a goal or success or self-employment, then you don't think like me. Because I am self-employed. And I wanted to be self-employed ever since I was young, real young, since I was in high school. I've wanted to be self-employed. I've always wanted to work for myself, not for the man, as we call it. I ain't want to work for the man. And when you're working for somebody else, what you expect? You to be successful? No. That's why it's called working for the man. I mean, it's like, you know, an owner of a business dictates how their business is ran. It's their business. It's like if you come into my house and you talk to me some kind of way, I'm gonna tell you to get the hell out. And if you don't get out, I'm gonna throw you out. And if that don't work, 12 gauge, you're going to leave one way or another if you disrespect me in my house. So, if anybody should be a king anywhere, it's their own home. Or a dictator anywhere, it's in their own home. That's the only place I think dictatorships are allowed. Your own home. That your name is on the lease. You pay the majority of the bills or all the bills. Yes, dictatorship. King. Outside of that, nobody should be dictating nothing in nobody's life. Nothing. Zilch, nada, not a single thing should any one person be dictating in anybody else's life. It's not your life, it's theirs. Yeah, there's consequences to their choices or to choices that people make, but guess what? That's their choice to make. It's like telling a person they can't jump off a bridge. Who are you to tell a person they can't jump off a bridge? It's their life. They can do what they want to with it. They want to flush it down the drain, whatever. That's their life. I'm never gonna knock somebody wanna, like if you truly in control of your life and dictate your life. It's just when people control your life and dictate your life for you. I don't know what to say, man. You gotta straighten up. But all this politics, I know I'm straying off course, but all this politics in the NBA ain't helping. And then it doesn't help that the number one face is spreading lies and putting out a false narrative. Because you want to sit there and put it out there that a cop who saved another woman's life, I'm going to say he saved her life. Because this is what happened. The cop comes and he's talking to a girl, and she's saying, "Oh, these people are trying to assault me." And as soon as the cop gets over there, the girl gets thrown up against a car, and another girl is about to stab her in the face. So you're not going to tell me that a person that has intentions of stabbing somebody in the face is only going to do it one time and stop. No. You're not going to tell me that a person that is going to stab somebody in the face does not have intentions of trying to kill them. That is bogus, horseshit, bullshit, complete lies. Anybody who's going to stab somebody in the face is going to try to kill them. I don't want to hear it self-defense when you got somebody pinned up against a car about to stab them in the face. And it's like a no-win situation. So if the cop lets the girl stab her in the face, oh, he didn't do his job. He didn't protect and serve. And then when he does protect and serve, he still gets scrutinized, criticized. He gets thrown on social media, has his life threatened. Oh, you're next. You're next. I mean, I don't have kids, but, if somebody's about to stab my kid in the face and I got a gun on me, I'm not waiting for no cop. I'm killing him dead dead right there. Ain't no shooting him in the leg or shooting him in the shoulder when you about to kill my kid or my child or even my sister or my mom, a family member that I dearly care about. You about to stab them in the face in front of me. I'm grabbing my 12 gauge and I'm turning you to Swiss cheese. And hell no, I'm not calling no cops to come take you to the hospital and save your life. Because, this is the thing. Let me be clear about what I say. I don't wish death on nobody. but I don't sympathize with people who've killed other people and whatever bad happens to them. I don't sympathize with some people who rob people at gun, multiple people at gunpoint. I don't sympathize what happens to them if something bad happens to them. I don't sympathize with a child molester when he gets raped in prison. He got what he deserved. If you rob multiple people at gunpoint, which you know you never like when somebody gets robbed at gunpoint, they don't know that if that person is going to kill them or would kill them. They don't know that. Nobody knows that. I've been robbed at gunpoint. Nobody knows that. It's not a good feeling. You don't when a gun's in your gut, you don't know if this person will pull the trigger or not. So all these assumptions and these what ifs, you know, well, couldn't he have shot her in the shoulder or a leg? Yeah, and what if he did that? And guess what? She could have still stabbed the chick in the face over and over and over again. Because one bullet wound doesn't necessarily stop you from killing somebody else. That's the thing you have to realize. She is about to kill somebody else. Whatever you have to do to stop somebody from killing somebody else, you do it. We're going to slap people on the wrist, No, don't do that. Don't try to stab her in the face, And this idea that if he shot the girl, who's to say she doesn't get up and come at him and try to stab him? Then what does he do then? He just no. Then he has to shoot again regardless, So y'all need to get all the facts and get the narrative correct. For y'all just put out these lies out here in society. Every situation involving a cop killing is not all racist. It's not all the same. The devil is in the details. And all the details are different. And even Charlemagne said, like, if you know what's going on here. That if you know cops are trigger happy, why are you even pushing it to that point? If you know this, I mean, if that's what you believe in your mind, that every single cop is out here, like LeBron said, hunting people, and they're all trigger happy, then why would you even antagonize it to that point? I know if somebody's out to get me, I'm not giving them the opportunity to just get me. I'm not making it easier for them, I'm gonna make it harder, and I mean, 9 times out of 10, if you run from the cops, if you start mouthing off to them, things can go wrong. Things can go a way you don't want them to go. I mean, we know this in society. We know that if you cuss out a cop or you resist a cop, things can go wrong, So yeah, the NBA I feel like is losing their ratings because they're taking on the narrative that all white people are racist, so they're losing a lot of white fans because the NBA is just completely siding with the Democrats, and the Democrats are completely saying that all white people are racist. I mean, I really find it hard to believe for I'm a white male who promotes hip hop music for a living, who is very passionate about hip hop music, who makes hip hop music, who has been in love with women of color, African American women. I have a African American woman's initials tatted on my arm that I was head over heels in love with. I fell in love with a married woman that was half black. I don't have no white friends whatsoever. Zero. I had one white friend, but the fact that he was racist, I couldn't allow. He had to be eliminated out of my life because none of my black friends are racist because black people aren't racist. Um, they might be prejudiced. Everybody's prejudiced towards something, you know. I don't like. I choose Coca Cola over Pepsi. You know, I'm prejudiced towards Pepsi. I hate Pepsi. You know, I was hit by a car. Like, and when I'm saying hit by a car, not my a car, not in a car, and got my car got hit by a car. I was hit by a car crossing a road. I'm prejudiced to go towards people who don't drive right. They speed. They don't stop at stop signs. They run red lights. I'm prejudiced against those people because those are the kind of people that hit me with a car. So no, I don't like those kind of people. But yeah, like no white people, no white friends because he was racist, and black people aren't racist, and none of my black friends are racist, nor are they prejudiced. Nor are any of my black friends really prejudiced. Like they're prejudiced towards something, but it has nothing to do with race. It probably has something to do more with like hip hop music, like new rappers. They're probably prejudiced, like they like old school rappers opposed to new school rappers. But yeah, the NBA, the NFL didn't really. That's the thing. NFL's ratings didn't drop as much because they didn't throw in the Black Lives Matter movement, and you know, let me be clear how I say this. Do I believe Black Lives Matter? Yes. Life matters. Period. I love my dog. I love dogs in general. My apparel is dog based, and I like animals. I don't. I'm not a kind of person that values human life over animal life. And to be honest with you, I value my dog's life over most humans' lives because I don't. Most human beings they don't. It's not like they care about me. So I care about my dog a lot more than I care about them. Plus, my dog can be trusted more than I can trust the average human being. My dog, is more loyal than the average human being. So I don't value human life over dog life. So let's get that out the way. So when I say that, yes, I think all life matters. Not all lives, but all life matters. Unless you're a scumbag rapist or child molester, or you done killed somebody in cold blood, or you out there armed robbing people at gunpoint. You're a scumbag. I don't care what happens to you. Your life doesn't really matter to me. Not that I wish death on you, but I'm not going to sympathize when something bad happens to you because you living, when you living in it, it's one thing for a person to rob a civilian, a person who's not in the game, and it's another thing for you to rob another person that's in the game. Like when you rob a dope dealer, the dope dealers, if you sell drugs, you could get robbed. You take the risk of getting robbed. If you rob people, you take the risk of getting killed. Because the first rule of pulling a gun is pulling a trigger. You're robbing people and you're breaking the rule every time. So that rule could come back to haunt you because you could rob the wrong person, you know. So yes, Black Lives Matter, Hispanic Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. But Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with black males. Black Lives Matter movement has nothing to do with black men whatsoever. It is a movement for transgender LGBT community people their movement, they want to take the men out of the household. So this idea that Black Lives Matter has no, Black Lives Matter is a should be called some Black Lives Matter because that's all they care about. They only care about some black lives, which is the female black lives. They don't give a rat's ass about black men, African American men. And in my opinion, the struggle of the African American man was so much harder and worse than what the African American women went through. I don't recall dingo fighting between women in slavery. I don't recall them forcing women to have sex with other women during slavery. They did that to men, you know. They forced them to have sex with each other and they forced them to kill each other and fighting. Those are two things that were just women never had to go through. And yes, women were raped in slavery, but it's it's just not the same as being raped by a man raping another man. It's just it's different. It's different. And women been getting raped since the caveman days. You know, there was a time when all women were getting raped. It was common as the cold. You know, but men raping men, it's not a common thing. You know, and I think it's just it makes men question so many things about themselves that women will never question about themselves when they're getting raped by a man. You know, so yeah, Black Lives Matter movement should be called some Black Lives Matter. And I think the fact that the NBA took that stance really wasn't good because, I mean, there's black men that know that Black Lives Matter movement doesn't give a rat's ass about black men and African American. It's not, they only care, it's an LGBT community movement, which, they don't want men in the household, whatsoever, you know. So, yeah, I think the fact that they took that stance didn't really help whatsoever because a lot of people know that movement is bogus. It's false narrative of that movement that they don't really care about all black lives. They only care about LGBT lives, and those are women. They don't really care about the men whatsoever. They don't want men in the household. They're trying to change the family structure altogether. And a woman and a woman and a man don't give birth to a child. It's a man and a woman who create the child and give birth to it. So you're trying to change something that it can't be changed. Men and women create kids together, and the woman has the kid. Men and men do not have kids together. Women and women do not have kids together unless they are adopting. So y'all throwing out all these false narratives, man, that don't help. These lies, and the NFL and did not take that stance. The NBA took that stance. They put the Black Lives Matter movement in there, and even all the people in the NBA are not even smart enough to know that movement doesn't even support them. They're supporting a movement that doesn't support black men whatsoever. So it's like, what are we talking about here? I'm not going to support movements that don't support me. That's how support goes. We support each other. If one person is just doing all the support, that's dependence. That's not support. That's dependence. But yeah, so LeBron James throwing out these false narratives, commenting on things before you even know the facts and the truth. I think I agree with people now that LeBron James is breeding racism. He's breeding racism. I think LeBron James believes all white people are racist. He believes it's systematic racism, which I don't believe in. Maybe at one point, but right now, no, this idea of white privilege. I mean, I walked 2 miles for years to a dead end job. But every time I went to my job, I didn't go to my job just to work for a paycheck. I worked to pay my bills off and to take the rest of my money, invest into something else. And for the last 10, 11 years, I've been working at home. And it has nothing to do with white privilege. Because the business I got into, I knew nothing about. Evolution took me to my business. I started out as a musician. I got into radio because I couldn't get radio play as a musician. I got into booking other celebrity artists so I could open up for them. But radio took me down a path of promoting musicians and artists. Not just being an artist, but promoting artists. So I was an artist who got into radio to promote myself. But I ended up not only promoting myself, I ended up promoting other artists, So then I got into doing targeted Twitter followers around the MySpace days when Twitter just started getting popular. I started doing targeted Twitter followers with a software called I want to say it's called TweetBig. And this software was the best software I ever seen for targeted Twitter followers. It just was. Because it went after the people that were more likely to follow you back quicker based on keywords or whatever. Well, this software had issues. And the API had issues with Twitter, so the software wouldn't work no more. I instantly had to evolve from just doing Twitter to doing YouTube and Facebook and everything else that was out at the time. And now it's TikTok and SoundCloud, whatever it is. Like, if it's a form of marketing promotion that gets results and has benefits to my clients, I have to offer it. So the business I got into, I knew nothing about. So this idea that, racism is holding a whole race of people back, like, first of all, most people don't think out the box. If you're only trying to get a job at like McDonald's or just the places you see around town, that's the first problem right there. You're holding yourself back because you're limiting yourself. You're putting limitations on yourself when you're only thinking about making money offline. When nowadays all the money is made online. And it shows. Why are tech companies so powerful and so big? Because they're making more money than people offline. They're making more money online than people offline. You know why? Because think about a restaurant. A restaurant doesn't make money in their sleep. Online companies make money in their sleep. I make money in my sleep. I make money from streaming in my sleep. I make money from orders when I'm sleeping, from promotion services. I make money from Google ads when I'm sleeping. You know, somebody might buy a t-shirt while I'm sleeping on my t-shirt site. You know, somebody might be viewing my podcast or my vlog that's monetized while I'm sleeping. I make money while I'm asleep. You can make money while you're sleeping online. Offline, you can't necessarily do that. I mean, unless you're Dunkin' Donuts and you open 24/7 and you sell donuts like crack, what are we talking about here? So I don't believe in systematic racism, and I don't believe in white privilege no more. I believe in rich privilege, but I wasn't privileged. I walked 2 miles to and from a dead end job. I worked hard to get to this point. I built my company up to the point where it's self sustaining. That, like, if I, like at this point now, I just work smarter and not harder, you know? So this idea, I mean, Jay-Z went from Marcy's to where he's at now. I mean, athletes are making a shit ton of money. Rappers are making more money than ever. You know, actors, you got crazy black actors coming out nowadays. Like there's just so much opportunity out there. If you don't even give it a shot, it's not society's fault. It's not. Even if there was systematic racism in society, if you didn't even give it a shot, you didn't even give it an effort, it's not racism's fault because you got to at least give it a shot. And that's the thing. They throw this narrative out there that America, everyone is so racist, that all white people are so racist, every white person is racist, that the whole system is against you, that you shouldn't even try. You shouldn't even give it a shot. And that's bogus, man. Because you got to have ambition. If you don't got even ambition, what are we talking about here? Determination, ambition. I mean, then just be content working a 9 to 5 and working for the man, and don't complain. Because if you didn't give it a shot, you put it forth a effort. You know, you have no real goals. And this is the thing: going to college isn't a goal, in my opinion. Because I've seen plenty of people go to college and work at a McDonald's. Let me tell you how much of a college degree I got. Zero. I don't even got a high school diploma. So I don't want to hear no excuses about, it's just that's the problem. I don't want to hear excuses, solutions. I don't accept excuses anyways. Solutions. Okay, like even if there is like we say there's racism, let's not make excuses about it. Let's figure out a solution. And that's all I ever hear, well, excuses. I can't do this because racism. I can't be successful because of racism. That's bullshit. Because most people don't even try. They haven't. They don't even make an effort. Most people just trying to go to college and think that's goals. Because they don't even they go and get a degree, and most degrees go with jobs. Jobs are not the same as careers or self-employment. Most of the time when you're going to get a degree, you're going with jobs, And I know I'm getting off track because this is a sports podcast, but I feel like all this has to do with why the NBA is dropping, because they've basically alienated half of their race, a whole race of people, and they've alienated half of their fan base, with this false narrative that everybody's out to get you, everybody's racist, you don't stand a chance, cops are just hunting people, From a hunting standpoint of view, I've always said if cops are hunting people, when I think about hunters, when hunters go try to kill quail or ducks, they're trying to kill a ton of them, as many as they can. So if cops are hunting people, they're not doing a good job. They're not doing a good job. Because 9 people, 10 people out of 200 million is a terrible job if you're hunting. It's terrible if they're hunting. But that's that false narrative that all cops are hunting black people just to kill them. I mean, if they were, there wouldn't be no black people alive. Come on, man. Let's be realistic about this. If all cops were hunting all black people to kill them, there wouldn't be no black people alive right now in America. They all be dead. Because y'all don't know what the mentality of a hunter's mentality is, apparently. And yes, there's some incidents where cops killed black people, and it was so fucked up. But there's incidents where cops killed them and they were justified. Because I'm going to tell you what, even if I was a cop, not about to let nobody kill me before I kill them. A cop or no cop, if somebody's going to try to kill me or assault me, I'm going to, do whatever it takes. But yeah, I agree. I think the ratings went down because partially the politics is so heavy in basketball, not like so much in football. You took the Black Lives Matter stance, which really is only supporting some Black lives. So you alienated half of one race and all of another. So you lost half of your fan base on that. And I don't see them getting it back no time soon. And as long as, people like LeBron are taking this stance where they're putting this narrative out there before they know the facts, they know the truth, that's going to make matters worse. People are so quick to allegation before investigation. Let me repeat. People are quick to allegation before investigation. That's like when I spoke on Deshaun Watson. Maybe one or two might be legit, but the rest are bogus. Because first of all, only two of them were willing to come out and give their name. So the fact that 17 other women are hiding their name and trying to sue for money, nothing criminal happened. Nothing happened except consensual sex, and and they're just trying to get payday off of consensual sex because all they got to do is go in and lie. Because, like I said, the one or two might be legit, the rest are lying just to get a payday and just to make it, look worse. That's all it is. Because the lawyers are gonna go out there and they're gonna go contact everybody that he was involved with and get their take, and they're gold diggers. I mean, most women that date in the NFL and NBA players are gold diggers, anyways. If they're not married to, and most, they ain't like no childhood sweetheart or something, or a high school sweetheart, college sweetheart. Like usually they're gold diggers, man. You know, I mean, come on, let's not forget that men don't try to men. We don't sit there and say, oh, we have to have a woman that has a car, her own crib, a job, and a big bank account. No, that's just women. We just want a woman that's attractive and nice. Women want a guy who's attractive with a big bank account, nice car, got to have a job, got to have his own place, got to have all these things, because they're so dependent on us. It's been like that since the caveman days. I'm going to take a pause for a second, hit that subscribe button in that right hand corner. But yeah, hopefully my ratings don't go down because of this. But you know, I don't know how it bodes well for podcasts and sports shows though that NBA ratings are just plummeting. Maybe the podcast ratings will go up because we'll talk about these topics of why the NBA is plummeting. It's like a guy once told me. A friend of mine named Corinne Keys. He wrote the Black Man's Guide on How to Cheat on Your Wife. I ran this ad on an urban radio station for my music promotion company. And after I ran the ad, he called me and asked me, what my results were. And I told him, well, weren't really that great. And he explained to me why my results weren't that great. What he told me is I shouldn't have advertised on an urban station. I should have advertised on like the pop station. And I shouldn't have had an urban commercial. I should have had like a commercial that was some dorky white guys. Hi, Bob. Hi, Tom. Because what he was saying is, and this is coming from an African American businessman who wrote a best-selling novel, a best-selling book, Black Man's Guide on How to Cheat on Your Wife, and he owns a t-shirt print company. Now, what he told me was the reason my ad didn't work is because the consumer and philosophy of the black man has always been buying from the white man, but the white man never buys from the black man. So what he's saying basically is the fact that I ran my ad on an urban station with an urban type commercial is I basically eliminated any kind of white consumer base. And if we know anything about most businesses, I mean, even the NBA is predominantly black, and the consumer fan base of the NBA is predominantly white. Because that's just because there's more white people in America. That's really all it is. There's more population, a higher population of white people, so you have a bigger consumer base. So basically, what I did is eliminate a whole consumer base. Now, if I advertise my commercial with the Bob and the Tom on the pop commercial, I stand the chance to get the white consumer base and the black consumer base. But when I only advertise on the urban station, the urban commercial, I'm only going to get the black consumer base. And yes, I do promote a lot of hip hop, but I also promote pop, country music, rock. So for a company that promotes multi genres of music with multi races, it just doesn't bode well to just target one race. And that's what the NBA did. The NBA just targeted their black fans. That's all they did. They only care about their black fans and are targeting their black fans. So you basically said, screw all the white fans. Uh, we don't care what you think. We don't care what you like, don't like. We don't care if we're going to lose money. If I don't think this bodes well. Salary cap's probably going to go down. TV ratings go down. And guess what? When contracts get renegotiated, money will go down. The contracts will go down. If the ratings are going down, the money's going to go down. Eventually, when you do new contracts, money goes up when ratings go up. So I don't think it bodes well because NBA really just said screw all the white fan base, and they pretty much said screw all black men when you put the Black Lives Matter movement thing in the middle because that has nothing. That movement doesn't not even care about African American men or has nothing to do with African American men whatsoever. Unless they're part of that LGBT community, apparently. But they don't care about straight African American men. That movement does not care about them, does not support them, is not for it. They don't care. They want them out the household. If you think I'm feeding you horseshit or bullshit, you might want to do your homework and do your investigation. I'm not making allegations. Done my investigation. Black Lives Matter movement has nothing to do with black men. They don't care about black men. They want black men out of the household. You know, so yeah, they alienated a whole race of people, and that's the problem too. We always on this white black. I thought races was like there's the human race, the animal race, the reptile race. You know, but we bring color in to the race thing, and that's where we went wrong. Like, when did color become race? Before that, color wasn't race. It was just human race, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, whatever. But everything's black and white. There's no gray area. Even in politics, there's no gray area. It's just left and right, and really no in between. And then you got people on the far left, um, putting down people on the right and people that are not as far left as them. If you're not as far left as them, people on the left are the enemy, and the whole right is the enemy. People on the far right, if you're not as far right as them, then you're the enemy. You know, it's just bogus, man. It's no gray areas, no in between. People just alienating whole races of people and whole consumer bases, and then they wonder why their fan base goes down and consumer base goes up. Because I can tell you right now, fans not being in the stands has nothing to do with people not watching basketball. It had nothing to do with that. I'm telling you that the bubble, what went on in the bubble, strayed a lot of people away from basketball together. A lot of people. And as long as you keep politics and race as your big focus in sports, you're going to lose more and more fan base because a lot of people don't want race and politics in sports. It's like every day you get on YouTube, it's politics and race. It's every day. It's race this, race that. Black, white, this, that, and the third. It's getting to the point where people are making it their every day. Once you make it your every day and dwell on something like that, it just becomes a fabric and part of your life that it's never going to go nowhere now. And so you're going to live this life every day thinking the government is out to get you. You can't be successful because you don't stand a chance. It's not a good, like, I wake up every day with the mindset of I got to get money and expand my business. I'm not going to dwell, on one thing every single day if it's not positive. And dwelling on race every single day is always a negative. It's never going to be a positive. It's never. Because even like the videos the other day, the BL movement said it's never going to be enough. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if there's 100% justice. It's never going to be enough for them. It's never going to be enough. You know. So it's part of the fabric now of American, the divided states of America. You know, and that's why the NFL ratings are still up and NBA's down. NFL's not taking this stance. They're not never going to take this stance where they're going to alienate a whole consumer base. They're going to alienate one whole race and half of another. You know, and that's what the NBA is doing. NBA is alienating one whole race and half of another. And then you got the biggest face and the greatest player in the last 10 years as the poster boy of false narratives and alienating a whole race and half of another. Because I mean, that's what you're doing. You know, if you would have picked a different movement than the BLM movement, it might have helped out. But the fact that you picked out a movement that has nothing to do with race, Black lives whatsoever, it has everything to do with LGBT community lives and their rights and their acceptance in society. You know, I mean, that's what happens, man. I mean, CNN is down 60%. Like, basketball ratings are down like crazy, you know? And they're going to keep going down as long as these false narratives stay in and as long as you alienate half of one race and all of another. That's what's going to happen, man. You know, you can't, when you're in business, you can't just shit on half of your consumer base and expect to just come out on top still, to just still be financially on top. No, it doesn't work that way in the consumer world. You know, NBA's canceling themselves. Really, that's what they are. You ain't got to worry about cancel culture canceling NBA. They're canceling themselves because they're alienating a whole fan base. I never take up a whole episode to talk about one topic, man, but I felt like I had to, man. Because to be honest with you, if it keeps up and NBA just ratings keep dropping, man, and and they just keep just forcing politics down our throat and forcing race down our throat every single day, then I'm about to stop watching basketball myself, and I'll just be talking football in here and something else, boxing or mixed martial arts or something, which I need to get more into, anyways. You know, but once again, hit that subscribe button. My name is Paul Pickett. This is Triple P, Paul Pickett Podcast. Don't forget the audio version goes to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Slacker, iHeartRadio. The video is on our my YouTube channel, Paul Pickett Podcast, as well as Facebook fan pages, Instagram TV, Twitter. On Twitter, you can follow me at Paul P Podcast. Twitter at Paul P Podcast. Also, follow me on TikTok at Promo Palace LLC. Normally, I go live on TikTok as well, but I didn't this morning. Also, hit don't forget that subscribe button in the right hand corner on Facebook. Follow the fan page. Hit the follow on Instagram and whatnot. And also check out my websites, promopalace.biz for music promotions, indiecastle.net, planetplaylist.com, and check out my clothing apparel, newlitter.com, New Litter Apparel. We officially LLC'd as of last week, New Litter Apparel LLC. So be on the lookout for the come out. But yeah, this was episode 21. And this is basically why the NBA ratings went down. And you could thank LeBron James and you could thank NBA for alienating a whole race of people and half of another. You know, and I don't even really know. I really can't even speak on how Latins feel about it. You know, because I know enough Latin people to know that they deal with racism too. My neighbor, she's Asian. She deals with racism. She goes to Walmart and deals with racism. People telling her to go back to Asia because you got people blaming Asians for COVID, which is bogus. You can't blame, even if COVID came out of China and it was an accident in a lab or somebody purposely put out there. You can't blame all Asians. You can only blame the ones that did it. And I know plenty Hispanics that have told me, you know, black people are racist towards them or prejudiced towards them. So I don't know how they feel on this the black and white topics either. I really don't. I just know they deal with it. They deal with racism too, because a lot of people are mad because they come in and you know some of them taking jobs and they're not legal. And I never really knocked them because they come over here to take jobs that Americans take for granted anyways. They work super hard. They care about family. They take care of their family. People just always mad because they send the money back home to their family. But when you come in here to take care of your family and your family's still over there, where are you supposed to send the money when you're trying to take care of your family? And you know, uh, they got family is a big, one of the biggest values in life to them. Hard work. They value hard work. They value family. Those are two things I value. So I don't really knock them, and you can't really be mad at them when they get jobs under the table. You got to get mad at the person that's paying them under the table. You know, People are always going to want to come to America because America paints false narratives, anyways. America's not the land of opportunity whatsoever, anyways. The internet is. That's why I told y'all gotta broaden y'all's horizons. And if you're only trying to make money offline and you're blaming racism for holding you back, your limit. That's the problem right there. You're putting limitations on yourself, not racism. Because most people only think of making money offline. You gotta broaden your horizons. We make money online and offline nowadays. Of course, I only make it online, but that's here and there. But yeah, if but when you only make money offline, you're limiting yourself. I mean, you got DoorDash out there now, Uber, Eats, Lyft. I mean, you got so many apps to make money online. Like this idea that racism's holding you back from getting a job offline when you can Lyft, Uber, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub. I mean, that's 5 different things you could be doing at once. So yeah. Once again, hit that subscribe button. This is episode 21, Paul Pickett Podcast. Don't believe these false narratives out there. Don't be quick to allegation before investigation. Don't believe the hype, man. But that's why the NBA ratings are going down, and hopefully my ratings can go up, and my ratings don't go down. Some people might watch this video and want to hit me with the cancel culture, but you can't cancel me because I'm not popping yet. Podcast ain't popping yet. Nothing to cancel. You know. Once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Paul Pickett Podcast. Peace, and I'm out.